This meeting is being recorded.
Bro, okay.
All right, welcome back to Austin's Academy of Sports, where today I have another special guest. His name is Zach. I used to go to high school with him. We played tennis together on Coach Corville's varsity tennis team. He still is in high school, and I believe he's still playing tennis. Aren't you still playing tennis, Zach, right?
Sir.
All right, so Zach, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, what kind of college plans you got, what grade you're in, stuff like that.
I'm class of 25, so going into my junior year. I'm really not sure what I'm gonna do for college yet. I haven't really thought that through yet. Hopefully something in engineering, but I don't know. No matter what college I go to, always gonna love the Spartans. So
Yeah, as you mentioned, the Spartans, that's the main topic today. We have, I guess you could say, an MSU basketball look forward to season kind of podcast here. We also have MSU football coming up soon. So a lot of MSU as college begins to come back into shape. I believe everybody starts on August 28th at the end of this month. So without further ado, let's start talking about MSU basketball. They've had a few summer camps in the off season. A lot of the freshmen have moved into dorms, as a lot of athletes have for all schools. We have Tom Izzo, a Hall of Fame coach, great coach. He's had only one national championship. I believe it was in like the early 2000s, maybe the late 1900s or 1990s. Do you remember when that championship was, Zach?
no, I don't.
Yeah, I think
that's before my time.
Yeah, I think it was in the early 2000s with well, it wasn't Magic Johnson era, but you'll have to do some research on that, fans. But so anyways, Tom Izzo, he had a great recruiting class this year. He's got a 5-star recruit in Xavier Booker, and then a few 4-star recruits from all around the state, the United States, all over pretty much. So Cohen Carr, Garrig Nemhard, and Jeremy Fears Jr. and Xavier Booker, of course, are the 4 freshmen that are highlighted this upcoming season. Let's start with Xavier Booker. What are your thoughts on Xavier Booker, Zach?
That kid's gonna be special. He's gonna light up the Breslin Center. I mean, he's gonna be great. Like by his senior year, if he stays, if he doesn't go to the NBA yet, he's gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to his upcoming season. I know you're probably going to be going to a few games this year at the Breslin, maybe even a few road games. I don't know if he'll be a starter as a freshman, but between the first few games, he'll probably work his way up to 6-man maybe, or a starter. But he's got a lot of potential. I believe he'll be in the NBA after 1 year. As much as I hate to say that, I don't think he'll stay, like you said, till junior or senior year. But he might be a one and done. It depends on the NIL deals. But so what are you thinking? One and done or a junior senior for Xavier?
It really depends on how he plays this year. It really depends on the draft situation next year. So we'll see. Hopefully he stays.
Yeah, ever since LeBron got drafted right out of high school, they've changed the draft requirements to 1 year. You have to be 1 year in college. So he'll get his 1 year in college, but even if he shines this year, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what his plans are, because of course you can opt as a college basketball player to sign either an agent for the NBA draft or go without an agent. And without an agent, you have the option to return back to your college. But like you said, we all wish that he'd come back, because he's a really talented piece. And plus next year, we have a lot of seniors this year, so a lot of those seniors will be gone. So with like AJ Hogard, I think he's a senior. Tyson Walker, a senior. They'll probably be gone next year. But so Xavier Booker, like we said, he's talented. He can shoot. He can play the 5, and he can probably guard all positions. And Tom Izzo will use him for that. So Dog's going crazy. Anyways, Xavier Booker, he'll, like I said, 5-star recruit. And then Cohen Carr. What are your thoughts on Cohen Carr?
I haven't really seen a lot of him recently, but definitely good more recruits in. So
yeah, well, Cohen Carr, I just saw today a video got posted on the Michigan State basketball Instagram page and Twitter page, social media, all that. They have a vertical jump kind of thing where you got to hit the top of the vertical thing. He jumped all the way up and he hit the top. Not very many players can do that, which showcases your athleticism. And he hit the top. Like, he got a running start. You'd have to look up the video, but he got a running start and he jumped all the way up to the top of the vertical. I'm sure it was probably, I don't know, 47 up there. But his head was at the top of the basketball hoop. So his athleticism is the main reason why Tom Izzo went out and recruited him. And he'll probably be a solid bench player this year in the lineup. Next recruit, we got Jeremy Fears. He's another point guard kind of backup. What are your thoughts on him? Have you seen much videos on him or no?
Nah, not a whole lot, but I've watched a couple of videos on just the basic recruiting class for next year, but Xavier Booker is really the main one I'm excited about.
Yeah. Well, a lot of Jeremy Fears will be passing. Well, I'm sure Jeremy Fears, he'll get his buckets, of course, but him and Xavier Booker this summer will probably develop a lot of chemistry. So I'm like you said, looking forward to that. And then there's one more freshman, Garrick Nemhard. He reminds me of Matt McQuaid. You remember Matt McQuaid from a few years ago on the Spartans team?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, he was an awesome 3-point shooter, and I believe Garrick will fill his shoes from Matt McQuaid a few years ago when the Spartans went to the 2019 national champ or Final Four and lost to Texas Tech that year. That was, by the way, the 2019 year. I'm sure you know this, but that was the farthest they've ever gotten to a national championship in the last few years. So this year we're hoping for a national championship. Let's talk a little bit about the expectations for the season. What are your expectations for MSU's basketball team this year?
Well, last year I didn't expect us to be very good, right? And we ended up beating Marquette in the second round and losing to the Wildcats in the Sweet 16.
Yep.
So this year, my expectations are a lot higher. So we have the seniors coming back. We have Hogard, Walker. I think we're going to be really good. I think we're at least Final Four material. Big Ten champs for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Final Four, like I said, 2019 was the last time we were there. We've had a few years vacant from that Final Four elusive win. So with the few freshmen coming in, I think they can light it up and prove to be a dominant team that leads the squad down to the postseason. Like you said, we have Hogard and Walker coming back, and plus Malik Hall. Not very many people liked him last year, especially at the end of the year. A lot of unforced errors for Malik Hall. But he is a versatile part to this team. He could defend. I believe his defense is the best part to his game. But the only player that I can think of that left Michigan State from last year was Joey Hauser. Do you know any other players that left, or was he the only player?
I'm pretty sure he's the only guy that left that I can think of.
Yeah, I think it was just Joey Hauser because I believe his reason was he was getting too old for this college life, and he wanted to pursue a professional career. So he is currently not on the Michigan State roster. He's on the NBA G League team for.
He was balling in summer league for the Jazz.
Yeah, Utah Jazz. Yeah, have you been watching a few of his games this summer or no?
Yeah, I was watching some of the summer league games. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was
balling.
Mm-hmm. He provides definitely a 3-and-D type of guy for any NBA team. He can shoot it, he can pass it, stuff like that, and he can defend. So I think his brother is better than him, who is actually in the NBA right now. But he'll work his way up to the Utah Jazz. You think so? He'll work his way up to the Jazz, or no?
It might take him a few years. I mean, we see a guy like Gabe Brown last year. He's still in the G League, so you never know.
Yeah, well, I mean, a few years is I mean, I guess it's fine as long as you don't like get injured or anything like that and have to retire early or some weird case scenario like that. But like you said, it'll probably be a few years before he's in the actual league. But back to Michigan State, they have AJ Hoggard and Tyson Walker. They were one of the best backcourt duos in the Big Ten last year. And as we said, they're returning. So what are your expectations for them? A lot of points, a lot of assists, rebounds, triple doubles. What are you thinking?
I think they're gonna carry the team. They're definitely gonna score the most points. Between the two of them, they're gonna have double doubles all over the place. It's gonna be exciting to watch.
Yeah, well, they were already exciting to watch last year. I believe AJ's freshman year at Michigan State, I don't think he got very much playing time, so he's obviously worked his way up. But his work has paid off, and he's like I said, one of the best backcourts with Tyson Walker, the transfer from Northeastern a few years ago. I believe AJ, he averaged, I think he got one triple double last year, but he wasn't consistent with those triple doubles. But he got a ton of double doubles. So for, I guess, the non-basketball fans, a double double is 10 rebounds and 10 points or assists, 10 plus, I should say, averaging that double double. But he did pass the ball, and I think his passing game was the best out of all three levels of shooting, rebounding, and passing. So, like you said, double machine. And we both think that they're probably going to get double doubles like every game, especially against these preseason games. Where Tom Izzo plays them pretty much the whole game. Let's see who else is returning. We got Jaden Akins. He's an athlete as well. He kind of reminds me of Cohen Carr. What are your thoughts on Jaden Akins returning?
Yeah, Akins, he definitely helps a lot to our team. He's a little bit of a smaller guy, but he can get up there. He reminds me kind of like John Morant. He got a lot of bounce, even though he's not that big, you know.
Yeah,
he's a big athlete.
He's an athletic wing. He explored the draft this year, but obviously decided to return. And he'll be a vital part to the team as well. Well, pretty much every guy will be a vital part to the team. Excuse me. Try to think. We got Malik Hall. We talked about Mady Sissoko. Do you think he'll start this year, or do you think he'll get replaced by Xavier Booker or Carson Cooper, one of those guys?
I think for the first couple of games, he's definitely going to still start. But if he doesn't play so well, I think he's going to get replaced. Yeah.
Last year, he had the first few games, he was a monster against Kentucky and Gonzaga. But then he kind of returned back to his normal self again throughout the whole season. I think he, like you said, he might start like the first two or three games, and then Carson Cooper or Jackson Kohler will start for him. They have a little bit more arsenal to their game, which we have not talked about yet. Those were freshmen from last year, and they're returning as sophomores. So my grade. And they're awesome. Carson Cooper in March Madness last year, against Marquette, down the stretch, I don't know if you remember, he had an awesome like 5-minute stretch at the end of the game where he got like 2 dunks from Hoggard, and pretty much won the game for them last season. Do you remember watching that game or watching Cooper?
Yeah, I was watching it in history class, and I started celebrating. My teacher came and yelled at me. So
Yeah, that's how much of
I
a
remember
fan
he had a
Zach
really good,
is.
he had a really
Yeah. I remember in high school watching the March Madness games because most of them started at noon or whatever, and we're still in school that time. So especially when Michigan State plays that early, it's kind of like a holiday for all of us students watching the games. What teacher was it that came up and yelled at you?
I think it was Mr. Card
Yeah,
in
yeah. I remember
history.
watching a few games in his class. Yep. He never yelled at me though. I wonder what changed him. But anyways,
No, Mr. Card loves me.
yeah, Mr. He's a good teacher. I liked his history classes, especially when we got to watch March Madness every once in a while. So, um, but anyways, we were talking about Carson Cooper. So, like I said, the two dunks at the end of the game propelled their win against Marquette, and now will be, and then eventually lost to Kansas State in the next game. But I guess we talked about all the players. The schedule has not come out yet for Michigan State's season. There's been a few games. Um, Duke and Michigan State in the Champions Classic to begin the season. Do you think Michigan State can get that win there against Duke?
Yeah, I do. I mean, Coach K's been gone. He was gone last year, right?
Yeah,
Coach K, he's gone. I don't feel like they've had like great recruits. I mean, yeah, I don't think I can name any of their players right now. So
yeah,
I think we can get that game for sure.
yeah. That's a must win there. Probably first game of the season. Coming back from uh, shocking loss to Kansas State in Sweet 16. I mean the Elite Eight. No, Sweet 16, I believe it was. Um,
Yeah,
but
16.
yeah, that's what I thought. But Duke, you're right. Duke, they lost Coach K. They only have a few recruits coming in this year, so they've definitely taken a toll to the wrong side of the direction there. So you're right. I think they get the win there with Xavier Booker coming off the bench and being that awesome six man that we all know he can be. And then not their next game, but the next game that is plugged in on this ESPN app here is Michigan State versus Butler in the Gavitt tip-off games. What are your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, Butler sucks. They're like the worst team in the Big East. I don't see how we
Yeah,
lose that game.
yeah. I don't know how we got squared up with them because that's kind of an exhibition game there. Like you said, Butler's not the best team in the Big East, so um, I'm trying to think of any players that I can remember on their team. You remember any Butler players or no?
Couldn't name one.
No, couldn't name one. Like Zach said, couldn't name one. Uh, and that's the only two games that ESPN has plugged in for their Michigan State season this year. But obviously there's going to be more. They released the schedule for the Big Ten a few months ago, but they haven't gotten like the times and the venues out yet. So I know we were going to play Michigan. Do you plan on going to the Michigan State Michigan game this year or no?
I would hope so. I'd have to look at my schedule, but I mean, last 2 years we've split with Michigan State. I mean, with Michigan in the season series, and this year I don't see how we drop a game to them because they lost Jet Howard, they lost Kobe Buffkin, so they don't really have a strong team. So I don't see how we lose to them.
Yeah, Juwan Howard, I don't believe he's the right coach for Michigan. He was the right player for Michigan back when he played with Michigan in like the 90s or 80s or whatever he did, but he's not the right coach. He's just too aggressive. You remember that video of him almost attacking that
When he snapped the
Wisconsin?
Wisconsin coach,
Yeah, that served all over the internet when he did that. It was like, what do you think's wrong with him? Like he's just all over the place.
ah, he's a mess.
Yeah, he just doesn't seem like a coach, and he recruited his sons Jet, like you said, is not on the team anymore. And then his other brother, Jace, he is still on the team, but he's not getting much playing time. And they also lost Hunter Dickinson to Kansas because of some money situations, I believe. So what are your thoughts on Hunter Dickinson leaving Michigan?
Well, I kind of liked watching Hunter Dickinson play. He was pretty fun to watch, even when he was like killing Michigan State. But I don't know. He's in Kansas now. He's talking kind of crazy. I saw some quotes that he said that he hates Michigan and all that stuff. That made me mad, even though I'm a State fan. But I don't know.
Yeah, some of those quotes were kind of mean. Do you remember what the quotes were or about Michigan?
He said something about Michigan being fake Midwest, something like that.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, because Kansas is a Midwestern team. They're definitely in the Big 12, which is a bit more of a power conference than probably the Big 10. They're both power conferences, but Big 12 has a lot of juggernaut teams with Kansas and Texas Tech and all them teams. But Big 10, speaking of rejoining teams, we've got in 2024, we have USC and UCLA and all those other Pac-12 teams joining us. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my only concern is I hope Bronny James goes straight to the NBA so we don't have to play him because he's going to be pretty scary.
Yeah. That and the travel. If we have a away game against UCLA in California, like that's got to be mind-boggling for the players. The Michigan State or they're the Big 10 players who are on the other side of the coast. They're got to travel from east to west coast. That's different time zones. I know that's got to get through their heads or mess up their heads a little bit, but they'll have to adapt. And like you said, Bronny James, he'll probably be 1 year in college and go play with his dad in the NBA. Do you think he'll play with his dad in the NBA or?
I would hope so. That'd be really fun to watch. That would definitely be something to tell my kids one day.
Yeah. He hit whatever LeBron. I know LeBron has a lot of passiveness over the league, so he gets to basically choose which team he goes to, and whenever he goes whichever team Bronny goes to, LeBron will be right behind him. I would imagine. So
he said he would play under any contract. He would play with his son.
Yeah, which I think will happen in 2024, 2025 NBA season. Did you hear about Bronny's cardiac arrest the other day or last week?
I did hear about that. That concerns me because I mean he's like an athlete. It's kind of weird to see like a star athlete like that just randomly going to cardiac arrest. It's kind of scary.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's in California. Of course, it's hot over there, but they've got fans and indoor stadiums. I'm sure they got a way to adapt to that. But it's just mind-boggling the way he went to cardiac arrest like that. I think he's doing fine now. Like you said, he's doing fine.
I saw a clip of him the other day. He's doing good.
Yeah. So like we said, USC, some of the Pac-12 teams coming over to the Big 10. Do you have any other thoughts that you want to talk about Michigan State or talked about the players?
I just saw the iZone is already sold out for the entire season next year, so it's gonna be pretty electric in there.
Yeah, the iZone is one of the best college venues to be in during a home game for college basketball. Different venues have different electricities, and the iZone is one of those. So there, if you do plan on going to Michigan State for college, I'm sure you'll be in the iZone, won't you?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. That would definitely be a bucket list item.
Yeah. Well, like we said, we talked about the players and the coaches and all that stuff. So if you have no other thoughts, that's our Michigan State podcast there. I want to thank Zach for coming on and being part of this Michigan State podcast. Excuse me. So without further ado, thank you, Zach, and make sure to give this a like and comment, whatever you want to say. So thank you, Zach.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Go
Yeah,
Green.
no problem. See you later.
See ya.